first 4 contestants on The Price is Right at Night.
Yes, I was a contestant on The Price is Right, and it was crazy. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. But I'm going to tell you guys about my experience, about how it happened, how I got on the show, and like all the stuff that happened on the show. And we're going to find out if I won any awesome prizes, because it was like The Price is Right at night. So it was this like primetime show, and they were giving out crazy prizes like Lincoln Navigator, cars, all sorts of crazy stuff, vacations, all that good stuff. So I'm just gonna tell you guys a little bit about how I got on the show, my experience, you know, all those little ins and outs, and hope you like it. If you guys like the show, or you guys want to be a contestant on the show, hopefully this video will be interesting for you guys. You don't have to subscribe if you don't really care about my other videos, which are videos about business, entrepreneurship. I talk about e-commerce and drop shipping and Amazon, Etsy. I talk about equipment rental business, right? So if you honestly don't really care about that kind of stuff, you don't really need to subscribe. If you just want to watch this video, go ahead and watch it. You could give me like a thumbs up. Please drop a comment below. But you don't really have to subscribe, because if you do, and then you don't really watch my other videos, it's just going to mess up my channel. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy. And here it is. It all started with my friend, my buddy, my homie, my main man, Alex. He invited me to go on the show. So I honestly don't know if he was invited to the show or he signed up and he was approved. But we basically went on the show as a group, as a team, okay? So he has a valet parking business, and it was sort of this like company thing where it was basically 6 of us, and I don't know if they kind of reached out to him first or vice versa, I don't know. But basically, he was like, hey, Lenny, do you want to go on The Price is Right? And I was like, sure, I'll definitely go. I didn't really want to be on TV or anything like that. I didn't really care about that. But I thought like, hey, maybe I could win some cool prizes. I know they give out cars and money and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, there's a chance, right? So I could win something really nice. And that's kind of why I wanted to go. So I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely do it. So I think it was the end of November when they shot the episode. I believe it was right after Thanksgiving. So the way it started was we showed up 8 in the morning to the studio. The studio is here in LA, in Glendale. At 8 in the morning, I think we had like some kind of priority pass. So once everybody showed up, again, it was like 6 of us. We were kind of like a team. That's what I thought. We went up to the front. They checked us in. They made us sign some kind of like paperwork, like a agreement, you know. And then we pretty much went in pretty quickly, and they gave us these numbers that they put on the shirt. It's like a sticker, right? It had a number on it. So we go further down, and somebody basically gives us our name tags, okay? So those awesome name tags from The Price is Right. And then we go into this sort of, you know, like holding room. I don't know, this waiting room, right? So all the people are there. I don't know how many, maybe like 300 people or something like that. So we're just sitting there waiting. And they got this like hype man there. They got a few people kind of talking to us and telling us how the show is going to be, sort of trying to hype us up, letting us know like, hey, bring the energy and be excited and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking like, okay, there's no way I'm going to get on the show. No way they're going to pick me, but I'm still going to have energy. I'm still going to get excited, and I'm still going to try to kind of like be ready for it if it ever did happen. But I really didn't expect to get on the show. So they showed us like an old episode just for us to get like a feel for it. I mean, I'm aware of the show. I've watched it, but I don't regularly watch the show. So, but I kind of know I know the gist of it, right? So we saw an episode, and again, they're kind of explaining to us, hey, bring the energy. It's going to be like this. It's going to be exciting. We want you guys to have fun, all that kind of stuff. So around like a couple of hours into that, they called us out into the hall. So it was my group of 6 and then maybe like 6 other people. So there were like 12, 15 people out in the hallway that they called out. So they did that in groups where they sort of interview you, okay? So I was like somewhere in the middle, and they started interviewing people at one end. And there was like, I think there was a guy there that tried to be, that was like on the show, that tried to get on the show like more than 30 times and they would never pick him. So it's so crazy. Like, people show up and they go on the show like a bunch of times hoping to get picked. So it's really crazy. But anyway, like, so there were these two ladies interviewing us, right? They ask like basic questions like, hey, like, tell us about yourself, or like, something, why are you here? Blah, 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 right? So generally I get like really, nervous when somebody asks me that, like on the spot, kind of like, tell me about yourself. I never know what to say. I'm generally like kind of, socially anxious, like a little shy. So I don't really like talking about myself. But I was definitely trying to like hype myself up and be excited. And, for that one small chance of possibly them picking me, I was like, hey, it could happen. It could happen. So they got to me and I don't even know what I said. They asked me like, hey, tell us about yourself. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Lenny. I'm an entrepreneur, right? I got this business, that business, but I can't like focus on any one specific business or something like that. I got too much stuff going on. And honestly, like, I don't even know what I said. I feel like I said something that didn't make sense. And I felt like they were like, okay, next, right? They kind of gave me that look where I was like, yeah, for sure I'm not going to get picked. So they went to, the rest of the guys and everybody else, and they finished interviewing us. And they took us back into the room, like the waiting room, right? So we're kind of just hanging out, talking, chilling, waiting. Again, they got somebody there kind of like talking to us, like just making jokes, right? We're all kind of having fun. And then about 11:30 a.m., they call us out into the main studio, okay? So we finally all go to the main studio, all the people that are there, and we sit down. And I don't know if you guys know how the show is set up, but they have like the middle rows, they have like the side rows, and then the other side, right? They have a bunch of rows there. So they put me all the way to the left, which would be, if you're watching the show and you're looking at the audience, it would be all the way to the right. So I was basically like, to the left of me was my buddy Elliot, and he was basically by the wall. So that was the end of those seats. And I was like one in, and then everybody else was like to the right of me. And then you had the middle rows, and then like the right side, right? So I'm thinking like, there's no way they're gonna pick me because I'm way too far out to the left. I'm like by the wall, and there were like empty seats in front of us. So I'm like, they're not gonna put a shot on me or anything like that, because it doesn't look right. They put me here all the way to the side. That means they're not gonna call me. I know they're gonna call somebody more like from the middle. So I'm like, there's no way they're gonna call me. But I was still kind of like trying to be excited, and it was fun. I was excited for the show. Like, once you're there, they hype you up pretty nicely, and it's a pretty like awesome experience. So I was like, there's no way they're gonna call me, right? There's no way. But I was still like amping myself up. I'm like clapping and cheering and doing all that stuff. And they got this like hype man there, and I think the co-host, right, Drew Carey's co-host, I don't know, I forgot his name. He was like talking, making jokes, and we were kind of like, setting up for the show to start, right? So I'm just like hanging out, talking to my friends, listening, cheering, clapping, all that stuff. And all of a sudden, they call somebody's name, right? They call this girl's name. And I'm like looking, and I'm thinking like, okay, cool. At this moment, I feel like I didn't realize that they had started the show. I didn't think that they actually had started the show yet. I thought they were just like prepping, and that was just somebody that works for the show. And they were just kind of either testing or kind of trying to show us like how to react and how the show was going to go. And I just didn't register that it actually started because I didn't see Drew Carey there yet. I feel like he would have come out already, and that's when the show starts. But he didn't come out yet, and we're just kind of sitting and waiting, and everybody's kind of like talking. And then they call a second name, right? It's another woman that comes down. She's like all excited, right? And I'm just like watching. I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on at this point. I'm not registering it. And they got these like, cardboard like paper, right, with these with the names sharpied on them. And then they call the third name. I think it's another woman. And then out of nowhere, like I see them move the piece of cardboard, you know, like the third one off the one that's behind it, and it starts to say Lenny Tim, and like at this point I just like exploded out of my seat, and I was just like on. It was like a switch. You know what I mean? It was just crazy. I just went like, ah, like super crazy, right? And I couldn't believe it. And it was just so fast and it was so crazy. And I guess the show had started and I couldn't believe it, right? And I just ran down like crazy. And what happened was, this is so crazy. I went to the left, right? I went to the side, to the wall of the studio, right? Of the stage. And I went all the way down and I went to the front, right? To whatever, the podiums and stuff. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, like you got to go back and you got to go from the middle, through the middle. So they literally reset. They literally stopped it and told me to go back, sit back down. Everybody here is like everybody knows that they're going to call me, but we kind of have to sit back down, reset, pretend nothing happened. And again, they go like, Lenny Tim, and again, I go like, ah, and everybody goes crazy, and then I run through the middle like I'm supposed to, right? And then I get to the podium, and I'm so excited. It's so crazy. I can't believe it. I can't believe they called me. I really did not think they were going to call me. I don't know why they called me, but they did. And it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. And let's go into the first clip. So this was like the first whatever prize, right? It was these gold bars. So check out this clip and we'll pick up right after it.
How about we kick things off with a couple of gold bars? These gold bars each contain 1 troy ounce of 99.9 fine gold and feature microscopic signatures to ensure the bar's origins. The retail value is determined at the opening of business on the day of taping.
Gold goes over if it's closest to the actual price without going over. Go ahead.
$2,000, Drew.
$2,000. Go ahead.
3,000, Drew.
3,000. 2,000, 3,000, Stacy.
Okay, I'm gonna go $1.
$1, Lenny.
$21.50.
$21.50. Actual retail price is $4,321. That is you. Come on up here.
So that was the first prize, right? The first guess where we guessed the price of this of the gold, right? So I'm like looking at it and I'm like trying to figure it out. I'm like, how much gold is this? And they're kind of talking and explaining and like saying all this stuff. And I'm like, what is this? Is this like a bar? Is this like an ounce? And I'm like, I know exactly the price of gold. Like I knew basically the exact price because I invest in stocks and I sell jewelry related products and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I remember I am familiar with the price of gold generally. And I know it's always about $2,000. And I know sometimes it might be a little less, but it's usually like it wouldn't have been more than like $2,100, right? At the highest. So I'm like, I know the exact price of this. I'm definitely going to get this, right? And so everyone goes, and if you can tell, right, I'm on the 4th position, which is like pretty much the best because I get to go after everybody, so I kind of see what everyone guesses, and then I can say my price. So everyone starts putting in like random prices. I don't know what it was, like maybe $2,000, and then somebody I think said $3,000, and then somebody said like $1,000, and I'm like $21.50, and I'm thinking like, this has got to be like the exact price. And looking back at it, I may have been a little bit too high, right? I should have said less. And to be honest, I didn't really strategize. I think I was a little too excited. I wasn't really paying attention. I don't think I believed that I was even going to get on the show. So I was a little bit like unprepared, and I probably should have been a little more strategic, but I'm like, this has got to be like the perfect price, right? So I guessed it. And as you saw, they're like $4,000, I think $321, right? So what happened was I did not realize that it was 2 bars of gold, okay? It was 2 bars of gold, and I didn't realize that it was 2 bars of gold. I thought it was 1 bar. And I don't know if everyone else realized it or not, but everyone was giving these weird prices. If I realized it was 2 bars of gold, which I don't know, I just wasn't paying attention, I could have said anything above $3,000 because that was the highest price, but the total price was like $4,300. And if you double my $2,150, you get $4,300. So I was literally like $20 under. I would have been perfect. Okay? But I messed up. I totally messed up. I wasn't paying attention. Stupid. And that lady that won, right, that went on to play the game, and of course she had to still win the game, but she won that Lincoln Navigator, okay? And that's like $120,000 prize, and I think she won other stuff with it. So it was pretty insane. I couldn't believe it, and that was how I started on the show. I think I just didn't really strategize. I wasn't paying attention because you know how they always go like $1 over like the other highest number, and I couldn't done that. I didn't really want to do that, but I should have played more strategically, okay? Because you know there were like some crazy prizes, and I was pretty good. I think I was pretty good with some of the guesses, and there was one guess. I think it was this DJ equipment, and it was the one time that I looked back at my team and I looked at my homie Alex. And I listened to him, and he's like, 5,000. And I'm like, okay, 5,000. I kind of thought that was a little high.
Lenny.
$5,000.
$5,000.
I said 5,000, and I was way too high. And after that, I stopped listening. I stopped listening to what anyone was telling me. All right, so here's another clip I'm going to show you of a really good guess. It's this like chess table, and you're gonna see, I guess, like pretty close. I was just a little bit over, and then they get like a pretty good shot of me, like they pity me, and then Drew Carey like pities me a little bit, so it's kind of cool. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it.
With storage bag, a pair of velvet swivel accent chairs are included.
Nice job, Amber and Devin. Go ahead, Wendy.
$2,600.
$2,600, Lenny.
$1,750.
$1,750. Shamira.
$1,500.
$1,500. Jay.
$1,100.
$1,100. Good luck. Actual retail price $1,705. Shamira. What's up? How you doing? You made it. Congratulations. Lanny over by 45 bucks. Sorry, man. I just read the cards. That's all I do.
Pretty much after that, like everything was cool. Everything was great. It was a great experience. Drew Carey was awesome. He was a really nice guy. I mean, they take a lot of breaks, so we're kind of like sitting and waiting, and he tells jokes, and he sort of asks questions of the audience, and sometimes answers questions. So he was a really nice guy. We all talked to him. We all exchanged some like whatever small talk. I told him that like I couldn't believe that I messed up that gold, right? So anyway, spoiler alert, I did not win anything. I messed up all of it. I was close a few times, but I would always go over. I didn't play strategically. I was too excited. I messed up, okay? There you go. If you want to see the episode, I'll link it down below. It's the January 3rd, 2024, Price is Right at Night episode. So it was like this primetime thing. If you guys want to see it, I'll link it down below. But yeah, I didn't win anything. They had some crazy prizes, and I kind of wish I did win, obviously. But I had a great time. They're going to send me $300. So every contestant that comes up but doesn't necessarily win anything, you still get $300, which is cool. And that's pretty much it. I really hope you enjoyed this story. Let me know what you think. Please drop a comment below. It's always fun to interact. And yeah, good luck. And I'll see you guys next time.